I couldn't tell you how many books I'm currently in the middle of. A few days ago, I started writing down the names of books that I'm currently in the middle of that I haven't finished yet. And honestly, it's getting a little bit out of hand. And there's still some to this day, this morning, where I realized, oh wait, I'm also in the middle of this book. And honestly, it's just getting a little out of hand. I think we need to backtrack and talk about how we even got here. So the past few months, like 6 or 7 months at least, I've been in the worst reading slump. I think it honestly started with me just feeling too much pressure to read that I was putting on myself for no reason. Like, nobody made me do that. But then also I think that I was just trying to force myself to have this amazing 5-star read every single time. And when I didn't have that 5-star read, I was kind of like let down, and you know, I just didn't feel like starting another book just to not have it be a 5-star. And then along with that, I just feel like there were so many other things that I was putting my time into. Anyway, I think we're out of that stage now. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself to read. I'm not forcing it. I'm not saying, hey, I need this certain amount done by the end of the month. I'm just reading when I feel like it and stopping when I don't feel like it. So I feel like we're good. I feel like we're out of the slump, but I don't really know. We'll see. Anyway, we need to finish these books I'm in the middle of because it's ridiculous. So I'm just gonna go through the list with you guys. First, I wrote down The Ministry of Time. I am not sure if I care to finish this book. It might be a hard DNF. But again, it's so hard because a lot of these books that I wrote down are like, I was reading them mid-slump, and so I feel like I wasn't in the right state of mind to appreciate and fully enjoy the books. So I'm not sure if I DNF'd because of the slump or if I DNF'd because I just actually didn't like the book. The Ministry of Time, I want to say I'm like 65% of the way through that. I would have to figure it out because I wasn't reading the physical copy. I was doing the audiobook and ebook, so I would have to like get it back from Libby and see where I'm even at with that. Also tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, I also DNF'd this. I don't think I DNF'd this because of the slump. I feel like I DNF'd it because I just genuinely didn't really care for it. It's more of that like literary fiction where it's heavy on like, I'm just telling a story, there's no plot, just read. Which reminded me a lot of Normal People by Sally Rooney, which I also didn't enjoy. So maybe I'm just not a fan of literary fiction. I don't know. Another book that I'm in the middle of on my Kindle is Careless People. This one is a memoir from a woman who worked for Facebook in their like global policy position. And I'm about halfway through this book. I just got the ebook. I just got the audiobook for it on Libby, and I think I have to return it in like a day or two. So we'll see if I get to that one or not. Next book I'm in the middle of, I told you guys it's a lot, just buckle up. The 10-Year Affair. I got this from my Book of the Month subscription, and it was the only book that really seemed like I would be a little bit interested in it that month, so it's just what I picked. I did start it, and I think I'm only on page 44, so I don't even know why I'm including it in this. But at the same time, I feel like I've read so much about this book. Like, I feel like I've read more than 44 pages. So another book that I'm in the middle of is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Going into this book, I thought it was more like strictly sci-fi, which it does have sci-fi elements in it for sure. But it was heavy on the fantasy as well, and I'm just not a fantasy girl. Like, I don't like the world building. I can't picture all the stuff that's happening in my mind. Like, I just get lost in the sauce when it comes to fantasy. So I was just getting lost when I was reading this, so I put it down, and I was like, maybe I'll come back to it at another time. The other time never came, so we'll see if it comes again. I'm also currently reading Better Than the Movies by Lynn. This is the book that I've been reading for the past, I don't know, like 2 or 3 days. I wanted something fluffy and light. I'm normally not a romance girl, especially if it doesn't have any like substance or depth to it. After the previous book that I read, which was Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts Guffrey, I was like, let me just pick up something fluffy and light and just breeze through it really fast because that was heavy. But so far, I'm enjoying this book for what it is. It's not my favorite Lynn Painter book. I also have a few more that I'm currently in the middle of that I'm tracking on Goodreads. But we're not going to get into those because either I know I'm probably not going to read them right now, or because I just haven't gotten that far into the book, or for whatever reason. So I think that's all the books I need to tell you guys about. Who knows, one might pop in my mind and I might be like, oh yeah, I was also reading that one. We'll see. I just kept flipping through books. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, right here, The Castaways. And also in the middle of that book, now that I think about it, don't know how many pages I am into that, but I don't know if I'm a fan of Ellen Hildebrand. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at my shelf and I'm like, wait, no, there's actually a lot of books I'm in the middle of. All the Light We Cannot See. Again, I feel like if I read this when I wasn't in the middle of a slump, I would really enjoy this book. So I feel like I might need to like restart and reread it but I was pretty far into this book. So those are the potential books that I will be reading in this video. We'll see how many I get through, but I know for sure that we are going to be starting with Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter because I have, because I have been reading this more recently than all the other books. And I want to say I only have like 100 pages left of it. So let's go ahead and go read.
The night is warm, the world feels slow. I
feel like I need to fix my bun. Hold on. All right, we're outside. The boys, well, all the kids are filling up the little kiddie pool. Yesterday was my daughter's birthday party and they were in the pool, but it was like a cloudy, gloomy day and it wasn't super hot. So they were literally just out here like shivering the whole time. So today's not like super hot, but it's sunny and warmer. We're gonna see if they can handle the pool today. And I'm just gonna sit out here and read. Anyway, I'm on page 319 right now, so should definitely finish this within the next few hours.
I trace the memories only we both know. Every breath, every touch you gave.
Okay, I did finish Better Than the Movies earlier today and I finally have a moment to sit down and chat with you guys about it. I feel like today's been a long day. So a little bit about the book. We are following our main character Liz, who has a crush on her former neighbor, but he moved away and then moved back, Michael. And her other neighbor, Wes, she kind of has this like, I don't want to say enemy relationship with him, but you know, he just always teased her since they were a kid. They're always fighting over this parking spot. Like they just don't have the best relationship. But when Michael moves back in town and Wes is still friends with Michael, she decides that she's going to ask Wes to help her basically woo in Michael. I mean, you can assume how this story is gonna go. Like, I feel like fluffy romances are always very obvious as to who the true love interest is. But yes, so as you know, she tries to get with Michael. Wes is helping her with that. And first of all, let me just say the miscommunication trope is so irritating. There was two different, actually there was like 3 different miscommunication tropes going on. One was with Liz and Michael. She really could have just told him how she felt. Like it was so frustrating to like have to read her try so hard to be liked by him and just take all these like, girl, just say, hey, I like you, you know, blah, 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 like something. I mean, I know it's easier said than done. I've never had to do it, but it was just frustrating to have to read about. I feel like the miscommunication trope can be done right. For example, Liz and Wes, whenever she realized she had feelings for him and stuff, I feel like her not being able to communicate that to him was a little bit different and more understandable in the way everything played out. I was like, okay, that miscommunication is, you know, I'll let it slide. But the one that got under my skin the most was between Liz and her best friend. She was lying to her the whole book and she was just so insufferable and frustrating. Like she was making up so like all these different lies to cover up what she was doing. And it's like, just to, if she's your best friend, why wouldn't you just tell her, hey, I'm trying to get with Michael? I'm confused. It was so unnecessary. I feel like that was thrown in there for extra drama for no reason. Also, by the way, I know you guys hear that. I'm boiling some water. I am so sorry. I just realized that y'all can hear that. But overall, it was a cute story. I will say the one thing I didn't like about Wes, like I said, they always fought over this parking spot. If you've liked her, why are you taking the closest parking spot to both of y'all's house and making her walk like a whole block away or whatever in the rain at times just so you can like get her attention or something? Like, no. I don't like it. I don't like it. I feel like we could have came up with a different storyline for him to try to get her attention and be like this like jerk neighbor, but like still like secretly love her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna make her walk in the rain. I didn't like that. No. And I know they're in high school, so I try to kind of like brush it off like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, they're not gonna be the perfect guy, but this is a book we're reading, okay? This is fiction. Let's make them a little bit better. I still enjoyed the book. It was not my favorite Lynn Painter book. I read The Do-Over and Betting on You by her, and The Do-Over, I feel like The Do-Over was my favorite. Betting on You is also up there with it. I think I'm gonna give this one a solid 3.5 to 3.75 stars. which is not bad at all. Just wasn't my favorite, like I said. All right, so moving right along. I think the next book that I'm going to read is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which kind of stresses me out because I feel like out of all the book options that I have, this is one that I just probably genuinely don't enjoy and probably would actually DNF. But that's also the reason why I want to read it, because I just want to know for sure, am I going to read these last 150 whatever pages, or are we gonna just DNF it and call it quits? It's already 10 p.m. right now. I just got my kids to sleep like an hour ago, and I'm waiting on my food to be done, so I don't think I'm gonna read anymore for the night, but I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow, obviously, and we'll get started on the next book. While I cook some breakfast, I'm going to listen to Careless People audiobook. My audiobook is due within 24 hours, so I need to get it done. But I'm pretty sure I'm on chapter 30 now, and that is 58% of the way through, so I have about 5.5 hours left. Usually I do like memoirs and nonfiction on 2.5 speed, so we'll see how fast I can get through it today. Also, it's freezing cold outside. I don't know what is going on with the weather, but I thought summer was coming, but it feels like when, like, it's freezing, like in my Drake voice. Like it's so it's so cold. Anyway, let me get some breakfast made because I'm starving. Okay, I am in the car ride or pickup line now, which is like my favorite part of the day because I get to just sit here for like 30 minutes in the quiet and just breathe and do whatever I want. Anyway, so I am about 68% of the way through Careless People. I have about a little over 4 hours left. That feels just on like regular one-time speed though, so really less than that. But I'm just gonna sit here and listen to Careless People, eat my little DIY trail mix snack, and just chill and relax. We're gonna chat more about this book when I'm done with it, but I just want to say that Mark Zuckerberg is so, what do I want to call him, arrogant and pompous. And this other guy, Joel, I think he's the vice president of the Global Policy Administration. He is, he's a weirdo. I'm sorry. He needs to be reported to HR. Okay, he needs to be reported to HR. Anyway, let me just continue and we'll chat about it after I'm done. Y'all are probably not gonna believe me, but I found 2 more books on my shelf that I am in the middle of. And these are actually like, I'm not just like 50 pages in, like I'm heavy in the middle of them. The first one is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is a very, very popular book. I feel like everyone loves this book, or at least loves the series. And I don't know, I've DNF'd this book a good, like, I don't know at this point, 8 times, 10 times, who knows? I don't even know where I left off because I guess I took my bookmark out and I gave up on it. But I want to try one last time to see if I'm fully going to DNF this book and just unhaul it from my shelf or see what it is. I know a lot of people say this book isn't the best. It's just like the intro to the series. But once you read this book, you have to read book 2 and like all the other books a part of their Magnolia Parks universe in order to like really fall in love with like the characters and all that. But I don't know, when I was reading this, I was so frustrated because they were just so insufferable and so like childish and toxic. I was like, are we being so serious right now? Like, if you love them so deeply, put the past aside, work through your problems, and just be together. Like, it was so annoying. If you don't know about this book, I'm sure you do, but if you haven't heard about this book, it's very like Gossip Girl-esque. Like, they're like upper echelon affluent people, and or like teens. I don't know if they're teens, but they're young adults. It's basically a book about first loves and toxic love and heartbreak and things like that. And it's a friend group. Magnolia, for this book at least, Magnolia and BJ are like the main focus. And then I don't know if it's the next book or what, but there is another couple in the friend group Daisy hates, and I'm not sure who her like main guy is, but anyway, yeah, so I feel like this is on my list. I could try this. I think I'm somewhere around chapter 16, which is page 115. I might be a little bit further, but somewhere around there. So that's an option. And then I also have Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I forgot I was even reading this book as well. It started out so good, like the prologue. I feel like it did a really good job of kind of lobbing up the rest of the story and giving us an introduction as to who the sisters are. There's 4 sisters. One of them unfortunately passed away, so we're following the 3 of them in the aftermath of their sister's passing, and they all have their own like issues or things that they're working through, obviously. And so we're kind of just following along their life. I only got to page 138 apparently, and I think I just stopped because I didn't really see a point to the book. This is more of a contemporary literary fiction type of book, which, like I said earlier, I'm not sure if I'm a fan, but this book wasn't terrible. Like while I was reading it, I wasn't hating it. It was just a little bit boring, and again, slump. Why would I do that to myself? I put it down. So maybe we'll try this book. I don't know. But before we officially pick a book, I need to chat with you guys about Careless People, because I did finish that, which I need to mark it on Goodreads as finished. Apparently, according to Goodreads, I started this book on January 14th and it is now April 28th and I'm just now finishing. So anyway, I don't know if I am going to give this book a rating. I feel like most of the time for nonfiction, I don't give it a rating. I either give it 5-star or I just leave it alone. And I'm not saying that this book isn't 5-star worthy, but it just wasn't, I don't know. I went into it more with just like I'm curious about the behind the scenes of Facebook, you know, and I got that information. So, I mean, I didn't hate the book. I liked the book. It was enjoyable. I don't regret reading it. Would I recommend it? It just depends on your interest. So yeah, like I said, it is basically the behind the scenes of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, the vice president of global policy, what's his name? Joel. And just people around the author's circle that she worked with while she was in the global policy administration. The whole thing, like, it's a lot of tea in the book. Like, the whole thing is crazy. Learning about Mark being very egocentristic and just very arrogant and always needing to control the situation. He didn't want to listen to anyone else on the team. It was just a lot that was going on in the book. And then Joel, who needed to be reported to HR, was just a weirdo in itself. I mean, that it was definitely a lot of tea, a lot of information in that book, and it was interesting to read about. The only thing that was like kind of, I feel like the reason it took me so long to read it is because it was very heavy on like the policies and talking about like laws and China laws and laws in Brazil and like this and this and that. Like they're talking about privacy policies and all this stuff. I skip that when I sign up for social media apps. Like I don't know what you're talking about right now. But the book was still enjoyable. I still liked it. Again, I would recommend it if it's just something that's interesting or intriguing to you, but I wouldn't just go around saying, hey, this is such a good, you know, memoir, you should read it, blah, blah. But I guess it's worth it to say it has 4.13 stars on Goodreads with almost 120,000 ratings. So clearly people are enjoying the book. All right, so which one should I read? I feel like if I read Magnolia Parks, I'm going to either not read and just put it to the side and just like watch TV or something because I just am not enjoying it, or I'm gonna end up DNFing it. I really don't have faith in this book. I don't know how people like it. I don't feel like I should force myself to get through book 1 just to get to the rest of the series. So I don't know. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm gonna go with this one. Y'all let me know. Which one would y'all pick? This book is so unhinged. So obviously I picked Blue Sisters to read. I feel like one of the reasons I stopped reading it, I know this is making someone cringe. I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, I feel like one of the reasons I stopped reading this is not necessarily how it's written. I feel like it's written very well. We'll get into more detail when I finish the book, or like, you know, when I'm ready to chat about the whole thing. But I think it's more so the content of the book. There's just like some things that I'm just like, I don't really want to read. I don't know. Also, look at my bookmark. I made this bookmark. It's so cute. I made a lot of them. I have a bunch of them upstairs in a box. Probably like 40 bookmarks. I'm like, I don't even need that much, but it came as a pack, so I just made them all. Let's continue. Okay, I have quite a few updates for you guys, so I'm just gonna jump right in. So I think the last time I checked in with you guys, I don't even have my books. Do I have my books down here? I took the books downstairs. I like to hold the books while I talk about it, but it's fine. I don't feel like going upstairs to get it. Anyway, so the last time I checked in with you guys, I'm pretty sure I was reading Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I have since decided, you good? I have since decided to just fully DNF the book. I don't know exactly what it is about the book, but I was just not interested. I didn't really connect with any of the characters, and I don't know, I just didn't care for it. Like, I was just very bored while reading it. I didn't care to finish it, and I was like, I'm not gonna force myself to finish it just to say that I did. I ended up picking up Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I ended up finishing the book. Let's just chat about that book for a second, because I don't know, I kind of had the same feelings as I did with Blue Sisters, but for whatever reason I pushed her. I think because I had the audiobook downloaded, so I was tandem reading, it was a lot easier to get through. First of all, the book did not engage me as far as the characters go. Just like I said with Blue Sisters, I just was not connected to the characters. It fell short for me. I just feel like the characters were unlikable, and I just didn't relate to them in any type of capacity. I feel like I have to have something to pull from the book, and that's another thing. When it's literary fiction, because it's not plot heavy, you're just kind of following along their life. Please ignore my daughter, she's literally running on the couch. But because you're just following along their life and there's not really a set plot. With this, it was like romance and things like that in it, but I just didn't feel like there was anything for me to pull from the book as far as like, not a lesson, but like a deeper meaning in the book. For example, when I read, one of my favorite books is I Who Have Never Known Men. That one had a deeper meaning. It had zero plot. That book has zero plot, and I know that book is not for everyone, but when I was reading it, I was just like, wow, the way the author just really like made me think about how, well, I'm not even gonna sit here and get deep into that book because this isn't a review for that book, but the way it provoked my thoughts, that book was just amazing to me. Also, The Handmaid's Tale was thought-provoking, intriguing, didn't have a super big plot, but was still just very good. I mean, of course, everything has a plot to some extent, but it's not plot driven, I feel like. And same for this book, it wasn't really plot driven. It was just based on the characters, and the characters really didn't have that much development, I feel like. I don't know, I just didn't really enjoy anything about the book. There were also little nuances that just bothered me in this book. There was this one relationship between the main character and another person. I'm not gonna give any spoilers. I don't know what's going on over there, but it was, first of all, it was just a non-consensual like the things that happened, I was just like, are we just gonna brush past this and skim over it and just act like this is normal? Like, what are we doing? Like, why was this put in the book? What was the point? What was the purpose? What are we getting from this? And then that said character continued on to be in the book and be like a loved, well-respected, I guess, person in this game development. It just was like, why did we do that? So why did I finish this book and not Blue Sisters? I don't know. Like I said, I guess maybe because I had the audiobook to listen to, so it was easier for me to get through faster. I think I gave it a 3-star rating on Goodreads because I just hate giving things like a super low rating. But honestly, I could probably drop it down to like a 2.5, maybe even 2.25. I just don't care for it. It's like Normal People by Sally Rooney. I just don't care for it. It's not my type of genre, I guess. It has to be really, really good prose writing. Everything has to be amazing in the book for me to like a literary fiction, apparently, because like there's so little that you can pull from the book, I feel like. No, actually, there's usually, like, if it's done well, there's a lot you can pull from a literary fiction, but it has to be engaging enough for me to want to keep reading it. Anyway, hopefully that all made sense. I also did think of another book that I'm in the middle of, and I was like, I just need to cut this because it's just way too many to even catch up right now. This video is getting so long. I feel like I need to just stop and maybe pick up again some other time. But the other book that I am in the middle of is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Yeah, just when I was reading it, it reminded me so much of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna end the video here because I feel like it's just getting way too long. But I feel like this was successful. We DNF'd 1 book and then we got through, did I finish 2 or 3 books? Can't remember. Anyway, I think it was pretty successful, especially coming out of a slump. Getting through that many books in a week, pats on the back for me. I'm not mad at it at all. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what else you want to see from me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.